I had a bit of an issue this week with some internet hacking, so I had to change all my passwords, and I've been having trouble because I need to keep changing them to something, that I can remember. So I changed all my passwords to Kenny, so now all I have is Kenny logins.
Cue the sound. Cue the sound.
Oh, hold on, yep. Did you hear they discovered an Egyptian mummy covered in nuts and chocolate? It's called Ferrero Rocher. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Dog, episode 78. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I be Jim.
Do you be Jim?
And I'm Elton.
And this week, we'll be taking the scurvy knaves off to the spivey point to stare out at the fog and shit and not mess with seagulls as we review the Lighthouse. He says, trying to press that fucking button. There it goes. We review the Lighthouse. Do it again. Thank you, Clips. There you go. Anyway, and we'll also be seeing how everyone's week's been. I will also see, in the meantime, if there's any feedback from last week's episode, which was, bloody forgotten
Attack
now.
the Block.
Attack the Block, yes. But we'll get round to that in a bit. So, let's get started, because I'm sure we'll be having a lot of kerosene and honey to drink before the end of the evening. And, yeah, we'll get on to the review, but we'll find out first what everyone's week was like. And we will start with you, Jim. How was it, sir?
It's been a long week.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Well, basically, just literally before Christmas, we did get, just a couple of days before, we'd gone to bed, and then we were woken up by the dog barking about 1:30. She very rarely barks. We went downstairs and there was nothing to be seen. But since then, she started to get very nervous around bedtime.
Okay.
When we start, because she sleeps downstairs, she won't come upstairs. That's something that's whoever had it before, she's not allowed upstairs. We've not got around that yet. But when I say, "Oh, we're going to bed," she'll hop up on the sofa and usually come and you sit on my knee, so I can't go to bed. And so I have to sit with her for a while.
Right.
And sometimes she's actually gone to sleep on me, so I'm nodding off in the sofa.
Right.
And we think, basically, we had a nice wreath on our door, and I think, because I'm on a little app called Your Neighborhood, and there were people going around nicking Christmas decorations. I think someone came to our door and tried to nick the wreath, which spooked her. And since then, when it's get to bedtime, she doesn't want to be alone. She wants to know where we are, in particular where I am, because I'm I'm security.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll have comfort from Teresa, but if she's really bothered by something, she needs Daddy.
Right. Yeah.
But she's slowly relaxing again now. It's all right. It's fine. But it means quite a few nights I've been just nodding off on the sofa with ambient music on YouTube. Can I go move now, dog, please? Get off my knee. Go on. The thing is, because she's got trust issues about being moved off the sofa, when she settles, I don't want to move her because that will undo over a year's work of trust building with the rescue dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've ended up being underslept over Christmas and a bit run down. And then so the weekend, the inevitable happened. I got an infection.
Oh.
It wasn't COVID, but it was a charming sinus infection, which if you've not had one, it's kind of, if you take the best bits of having a sore throat, toothache, and earache, and put them together, that's what it's like.
Oh, great.
And typically this sort of kicked in on Saturday. Because when I've had it before in the past, and sometimes, you actually need antibiotics to clear the infection.
Yeah.
But of course, getting a doctor's appointment in the current climate and on a weekend, right out. Fortunately, however, in my little village where I live, there is a chemist has just recently opened in competition with the Rowlands chemist 3 doors down.
Nice.
Now, Rowlands, like most chemists, very usefully shut up something like 12:30 on a Saturday. This chemist stays open late at night.
Oh.
On a Saturday.
So the other one's going to be out of business in about 3 minutes. Yeah.
It's open until 10 o'clock night weekdays. And it's run by an Indian family, and they're absolutely lovely. So it's like really like an old-fashioned chemist. And hello, sir. What can I get you? Everything's behind the counter, and you have to ask.
Nice.
But Teresa went in and had a word with the pharmacist, who's like a young chap, and he said, I can give you this, from behind the counter. I can, give you. It's not on, it's not over the counter, but I'm this pharmacist. I can give you it. Yeah, but I've got got a proper like nasal spray, one with like steroids in.
Yeah,
as well as paracetamol and codeine, because sinus pain is the fucking worst. But this nasal spray, he sort of gave us kind of on behind the counter, as it were, a couple of squirts, and like suddenly, oh my God, I can feel my face again. It's not roaring in pain. Someone took the needle out. Oh, nice. Yeah, so moral of the story, find yourself a good pharmacist. And often a pharmacist can sort you out without having to go to a doctor, which is useful to know in the current climate.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah, I will go along with that, actually. The old pharmacist helped me out with Dad and all that kind of thing, sort of over the COVID period, when the doctors themselves were kind of swamped or just not taking calls, let's put it that way. So yeah, no, I totally agree. Total thumbs up there. No arguments. So you're all feeling a little bit better now, or are you still fighting it?
It's pretty much cleared down, because when I started that, please God, don't be something wrong with the teeth. That means you're going to the dentist. And you don't want to go to the dentist because it's expensive, and obviously threat of infection, going where ill people are. Fuck that. Yeah. Asthmatic. I'm trying to keep my head down currently. But no, so it cleared up and said, "Oh, thank Christ, it wasn't a cracked tooth or something." It's like completely gone. Still a bit tender, but kind of. It's like, oh, thank Christ for that. Well done, Mr. Pharmacist. Thank you so much. Thank you for being fucking open on a weekend, unlike all you other bastard chemists.
Yeah, it's not like there's actually a medical emergency on or nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And can I just ask a question? I mean, this is just, I mean, the dog being slightly nervous. I mean, not to make light of it, but have you ever put all the wards and everything out in your house to keep it all sort of super safe and, no ethereal guests?
Oh no.
You haven't got one of Elton's tellies.
Oh, no haunted tellies.
No.
I mean, I'll tell you a story. Last time we did a Ouija board, someone said, "He's ready for that." No, we're not talking while he's there. And pointed the glass at me. Yeah, they know. Don't fuck with me.
Carswell, the ghost hunter. Look at him. Carswell, the ghost finder, isn't it? Not ghost hunter. Anyway, okie dokie. Right. I know Elton is he back yet from his desk? No, he's had to step away. So, Elton's not really got anything going on this week apart from work. So we will skip over him while he's just having to step away from the mic for a second, just pulling the curtain back for a second. So we'll move straight on to you, Mr. Barnard.
Oh,
what about you? Because we've skipped Elton because he's gone invisible.
Right,
I'm back now. Sorry.
He's back now. No, it's okay. It's okay. I was just explaining that you were saying in the green room you didn't have an awful lot to say about your week, so I was moving on to Darren.
No, it's very dull. Let's move over to Darren. I'm sure he's got some more entertainment than me.
Yes, entertain, Dal. Entertain. Hold on. Here we go. Darren. Now, entertain us, monkey boy. Oh,
I've got loads of nothing really. You're right. I've got fuck all really this week.
Right.
Apart, let's see. Anything? No, I haven't even got any new flavours for the Tassimo by Bosch.
Yeah, I was going to say
anything like that at all.
The Tassimo went down rather well. I think we almost
so do the coffees and the hot chocolate that's made by the Tassimo by Bosch, which you can get from Argos at a stunningly cheap price of $29.99. Thank you very much. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Yeah.
Make it rain, motherfucker.
Bring on the money.
Yeah. Sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Actually, to fold in the feedback, Jeffrey Mark Homan actually said, "I don't listening to the episode. I don't drink coffee, but I have this odd compulsion to purchase a Tassimo."
Do it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
My bank account grows at the same rate as your addiction to coffee. So yes,
Bring
come
it
on. Bring it on.
Cool. So bugger all.
From there, I've not even got any new gadgets or anything. The only thing I did do this week was I took 2 Xbox controllers and I basically swapped parts out on both of them, and I created an actual good working one. So I took my original one, which the insides are built like a tank, and I took the new one that I bought about 8 months ago. A warning to people buying any of the new Xbox controllers, of bog standard ones, not the elite ones. There's a lot of people saying that they give out within 6 months, and they do. My one, I didn't even have it 6 months, and the fucking the joypad, or was it the shoulder button went. And there's no breakage or anything, and the thing hasn't snapped inside. It's just you have to really push down to get the shoulder button to react.
You sure it's
properly.
not just your weak elderly fingers not
No,
getting the correct amount of purchase on you?
No,
the controller.
No, not at
Hey,
all,
bloody purchase!
bloody purchase! Toasts. Oh, I can't wait to see the new series. The Toast of Tinseltown. That's going to be excellent.
Yep.
The trailer's fantastic anyway. Hello, Clem. Hi, Stephen. It's me, Clem Fandango. Yes. So that's about the only real big achievement that I've had this week, really. I don't think there's even no new games or anything.
See, I don't know what you're talking about with that kind of controller give out. You know, with my new PlayStation 5 white controllers, they're just so solid in my hand.
Oh, I'm sure they are. They haven't been. Obviously the making of the PlayStation controllers hasn't been suddenly sort of like licensed out to a sweatshop somewhere. Where they're just happy to be alive.
I just feel proud that there's one PlayStation 5 in the country, and I know the person that has it.
Yeah. You can touch me now. You can touch me. If we touch one another, it'll be like electricity.
Do you want me to send you a photo of it, just so you know? Just so
you
know you got proof.
I am not worthy of a photo of one. No. I think we're 2 years into this new console, and I haven't seen one yet.
I don't think anybody. They don't exist. I think you're lying. I think you've got one.
Well,
he has a black swan.
Well,
I think this is a figment of your imagination.
You've been here for nearly 4 weeks.
What?
No. I'll tell you what. Not only that, but I am listening to you through my headphones, which are the PlayStation Pulse 3D headphones.
Oh, fuck off!
See. So there you go. I just switched over. Just switched over to my PlayStation headphones while my other ones are slowly recovering from being down the back of a sofa. Anyway, so yeah. So I'm listening to the. I'm just. I'm just going for the. You want the Tassimo, but I'm just going for the big Sony money, man. I got to go. if we're gonna get some sponsorship.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So that's your week then. You had shonky controllers, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, I think that is it, because I don't think. One other thing. I know this is going to get derision from you because, you only know one thing about this program. You seem to be fixated on one aspect of it. So,
God, okay.
Go on. In the ongoing anime thing that we've been doing in the household, we've started watching from the beginning Attack on Titan. Right?
This is get your bread out.
That thing happens once, one tiny scene in it when they're refugees and they're trying to feed some people. That's it. They don't get bread any other time after that. It's just
Lee doesn't like feeding refugees.
You're just you fixated on that one thing, and it's
it's because every time, because I fucking nodded off. I nodded off, and every time I woke up, there was people eating fucking bread. That was all it was.
You were watching a Hovis advert on fucking YouTube.
Anyway,
what do you mean you don't like me loaves?
Say you like me loaves. Say you like me loaves. I remember days when we were in Lighthouse.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Well, I mean, after if I wanted to see floppy naked people running down a beach, being rotoscoped over some people on overly complex anime traversal systems, well,
I've got to admit, looking at the Titans in it, it does kind of remind me of holidays down in Great Yarmouth for some reason. I don't know why. So. There you go.
It reminds me of once in my primary school we went swimming and there was
careful.
There was a bunch of people who were adults who were clearly being taught to swim, and if you've ever seen a grown man pretty much drowning in a 2 foot of water when he can stand up,
with a blue float in front of him,
and because it was the 70s,
was he wearing pajamas? Was he wearing pajamas? Did he take his pajama bottoms off, tie the ends up, and then blow into them to make a temporary flotation device?
Yeah, it was just like
fucking tweed really works well for that. It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
or whatever it is they make them out of.
There's about 20, 60-year-olds all being thrown in like 2 foot of water and going, yeah.
Tweed pajamas.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Tweed
Mate, that's
you say it like it's a strange thing, Elton. I mean,
oh no, that's right. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's all the rage. It's all the rage,
look,
everyone has tweed pajamas. Leather on the elbows. Come on. Must we get that?
Because I mean, frankly, that's the phase we're moving into. We're moving our demographic now. And when we started, and we were like, me and Darren were in our sort of mid-30s with this podcast, and we were aiming straight at people who were like hip to the idea of podcasts. Now we're just now we're going to the demographic of people who just got hips.
Yep. The Black Dog Podcast, sponsored by the Horse and Hounds. There we go.
Sponsored by Co-op Funeral Services and Saga Holidays.
Saga Holidays. Yep. Sponsored by Stenner.
Tenor,
or
men.
Tenor and Stenner.
Tenor and Stenner. Yeah.
That sounds like a detective show, doesn't it?
Tenor and Stenner.
One night's climbing stairs, the other
the
just
quest
wets
for
himself.
Synatogen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well man clinic for all your prostate needs. Okay, well, I'll just skip on to my week. By the way, just changing the subject slightly before we go completely off the rails. Yeah, my week's pretty dull as well. I mean, obviously first week back to work. One thing we did undo. I thought, because one of the things that everyone goes on about in this particular family is my inability to plan anything. So everything's kind of a bit of a surprise, sort of like, or everything's planned out by Carol or the kids or both. But me making a plan, absolutely not. Just absolutely not. So anyway, I thought, no, you know what? Fuck them. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to plan something out. I'm going to get it right. So I planned out to take the kids and Carol to a cat cafe in London called Java and Whiskers. Yeah. So I did.
Title needs some work.
Yeah, Java and Whiskers.
That's another detective show.
Exactly.
Java and Whiskers.
Yeah, it's also something that you don't want to get mixed up when you pour it into the cup. So anyway, I thought, right, I'm going to do this. I went on the website. I did the booking. And as I'm doing the booking, I'm typing it all out, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to get these guys. I'm going to book it on a fucking Sunday. I'm going to book it for lunchtime. I'm going to make a surprise out of it. I'm going to get it all sorted. Did it. And then as I did that, I thought, oh, well, I've got to put my credit card in because you've got to put a deposit down for booking in. And I did that. As I did that, I hit the old refresh button on the browser.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and I sort of went, oh, yep, cool, right, type in all my things, typed it in, paid me deposit, paid up for a little bit of extra food on the front, because you can get, like afternoon tea kind of thing.
Yeah.
I paid all that up. I thought, brilliant, money's all gone out. I got a receipt through, and I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, because this is on, this was on Friday I booked this. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got them for the weekend. I'm going to surprise them. Anyway, and I'm sitting there, and then on Saturday morning, I'm sitting there with my phone, and I'm kind of like giving the kids all the sort of, oh, I know where we're going, and you don't know. Oh. And then as I did that, I scrolled down the old, emails, and it will confirm, and I can see the confirmation. I'm thinking, yes, I've got this. I've really got this. And I noticed the time and the date, and I thought, that's yesterday. So cue frantic, oh fuck, and then I ended up cocking it all up, and we went to the thing on Saturday, but it was like on Sunday, but it was like Sunday at like 5:00 in the evening, as opposed to lunchtime surprise. It was like all of us traipsing across London because there was fucking tube strikes, rail diversions, things
don't
not
want to be
working
here now.
No, and it's just like, fucking don't want to be here now. So that was fun. But I will say, if you are a person who likes cats, I'm saying cats because I know where it's going if I say anything else. If you like cats and you want to go and just
served,
yes, ooh, Miss Slocum's pussy. Anyway,
exactly.
Captain
Peacock.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I would recommend it because it's just chilled out. You go into like the first bit of the cafe, and it's just like a normal kind of cafe. You can pick your cakes, and you can pick your coffees, and pick your pastries or sandwiches or whatever. Yeah. And then you go, I'll have all this. You pay it all up. And then you walk into a little room where you take your shoes off. And then you go into the next room. And it's like this big sort of double lounge kind of thing. And there's just cats just chilling out. And some of them will come over and say hello. Some of them won't. Some of them are just snoozing in the corner. You can go over and give them a little pet. And some little kittens attacking bits of the table and all this kind of stuff. And the kids loved it. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, well, I liked it too, because there was one cat who was just like, fuck off. And I had that energy. I had that energy by the time I got there. But no, it was good. It was a nice little diversion, I will say. And not necessarily for everyone, obviously, cat allergens and all that nonsense. But if you just want to chill out, it's really cool. Really cool.
Chill out and go to a place with a hygiene rating of 1. Brilliant.
Well, no, that's the whole reason why you take off your shoes and you wash your hands and all this sort of thing, because these cats have.
That's right, because taking off your shoes makes the cats cleaner, doesn't it?
No, you fucking numbnut. It's because the whole place,
shoes.
The whole place is disinfected. The whole place is taken care of. They don't want anyone bringing anything in from the outside into that area. That whole area is completely sterile.
Wow.
So
why'd they let you in then?
Because I had to stand outside in a hazmat suit, looking through the window, trying to eat a croissant through my grill. Other than that, Mum, still working over at my mum's, and basically her security light broke on the garage, so I ordered one in. And I tell you what, I don't know about anyone else, but do you have this thing now with Amazon where you get into this complete loop of searching through things, and you've got you've got no experience of, and you go, oh yeah, look, it's got 4,000 5-star reviews. This thing, you go, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get that. And then when you click on it, the first review you see is a 1-star review going, for fuck's sake, don't buy this, for the love of God. And there's a photograph of something not working. And it's the only 1-star review there. And you're like, I'm not sure about that. Oh,
yeah, 50,000 pluses and, like, positive reviews.
Yeah, there's one bloke going, I dropped it down the stairs and dropped the
and it went in one piece after that. I don't know why.
Yeah, 1 star. Look, it's broken. And you're like, not so sure.
Do you know what I hate, right? Is when you see that somebody's put 1 star and you read the review and it's because the postman didn't actually deliver it to the right address.
Yeah.
It's like, you fucking wanker. Seriously.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You idiot.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to call anyone an idiot just yet, because basically it turned up today, that lamp, the security lamp, and me being an idiot, when I'm ordering this thing, right, I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, normal light, 60 watts, sounds good. Yeah, get that, 60 watts, that sounds about right. It's like a normal bulb, isn't it? Problem was, it was 60 watts per LED in this thing. And so what we did was we got it, and Mum's like, well, does it work? How bright is it? And all this sort of thing. So I thought, okay, fine. I just took the wire and I put a plug on the end of it just so we can plug it into the mains.
I've seen what happens next. Is I've watched The Lighthouse and I've seen the end of that film. Okay.
Yeah. And then and then I clicked on it and no, and that's what happened. I put the plug on the end of it and I plugged it into the wall. And I'm looking at it. I'm going, well, how do you set the distance? And it came on. And this thing came on. And no joking, I think I left an actual black smudge of my skeleton on the wall behind. It was like someone had put a stadium light setup in this tiny, like 20-foot by 20-foot sort of room. And it was just like, even with the lights on, fully in that room. The room was lit up by this lamp.
Do you find that the front half of your body is lighter than the back half of your body now? Is that
it? Actually, I think it's the other way around. I think I'm I'm like Richard Dreyfuss when he leant out of the car to look up at the UFO. I mean, I've never been so blinded in all my life by something. It just came on. I'm just thinking, fuck me! I literally felt like I was at in that one freeze frame on the on the day after. Threads. It was just like everything went white, and it was like this
Birds
is how
started tweeting in the garden.
Yeah, fucking light sensitive diodes in the street all turned all the street lights off. I mean,
I was going to say. Of the residents have probably thanked you for not needing lights anymore in their houses because you've got the security light in your mum's garage.
Yeah. All the tarmac has all kind of melted and glooped into the corners. I mean,
it's all gone down the hill, isn't it? All of the train station, just one big
pooling
mound.
at the bottom there.
It's the first time I've actually seen the inside of my own head. I mean, I've never thought I could actually see my own eyelids, but I did. It just went white. Oh, Jesus. So, so 60 watts is 60 watt per LED, and there was 24 by 24 grid of these tiny LEDs. This thing was like a nuclear bomb went off in my face.
Crikey.
So Mum's gone, oh, that's all right. That'll be good. It's like, that'll be good. We're going to plug it into the wall, and the next door are going to know when the fox has crossed the road.
Yeah, Times Square wants to know where you got your lights from, because
jumbo jet's going to land in the street.
Yep.
Anyway, that's that. That's it. That is literally my entire week. Oh, apart from the random name, which I might tell you just because I think you'll run with it, but. I sat down to sort of do some backups on my computer the other day, and Carol's got all these notes and everything from stuff she's doing because she obviously does freelance and she does PR work for people and and various other bits and pieces and like PA work, and she always writes down little key words just as reminders. And I saw, no joking, I saw this thing and I thought, who the fuck is that? And it's like she's written down 12:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. Earthquake Wilberforce. Earthquake Wilberforce. And I just immediately had in my mind someone who looked like a cross between Indiana Jones and Professor Elemental. Big handlebar moustache, ripped, just these pantaloons, nothing on the top, and a pith helmet. And sort of like in a constant Queensberry Rules kind of stance. Earthquake Wilberforce.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like one of those low-rent superheroes you'd find in something like the Beano or Action. Like the Leopard of Lime Street or something like that.
Exactly.
That is a really cool name, though, I've got to say.
Earthquake Wilberforce is a fucking cool name. So I thought I was going to elect to call myself Earthquake Wilberforce. And I thought it was such a cool name. I went upstairs and I said to Katie, from now on you shall call me Earthquake Wilberforce. And she said, no, I'll call you Tsunami Weight Watchers. That was the end of that. Oh, okay. or as Mr. McManus said, Earthquake more like table drag. Table drag Wilberforce. Thanks.
Earthquake Wilberforce.
Yeah, so if anyone out there on the Facebook group or out in Twitter land or here in the hosts, would like to run with Earthquake Wilberforce, by all means go for it.
Send it to Professor Elemental.
Yeah.
Send it to him. He'll use that. I'm sure he will, as part of the whole Professor Elemental act.
Yes.
This is it. A new weapon he's got. Earthquake Wilberforce.
Earthquake Wilberforce. Come hither, Earthquake Wilberforce. Earthquake Wilberforce and the structures of impunity or something. I can't think of anything.
Actually, Earthquake Wilberforce, looking at the way the name's put together there, that can actually be one of the mechs from Pacific Rim. Because they've got quite... It's like, Gypsy Danger and Spyro Agnew or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. One of those ones. It's like that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, it sounmes like
Cherno Alpha. That's that's another one.
I think it would be. I think it would be like a bad guy from Toast, from Toast to London. Earthquake Wilberforce. Yeah, exactly.
Toast.
Earthquake Wilberforce. Anyway, I don't know. It's kind of random. It's kind of how my week's been, really. So, anyway, that's it, really. I think we will wrap it up there. I will look for some feedback. I don't think there was much on Attack the Block, to be honest. Apart from people were going on about member berries, which we brought up because member berries, because that was the thing. Because that was, and I tell you what, I saw even more bloody member berries. I'm getting sick of it. Just stop with the cocking nostalgia. Anyway, I don't want to do that rant again.
I think you just have to. I think you just have to. I'm going to stage an intervention right now because I'm getting concerned about you. See,
why?
I think you've seen too much now. Okay, I think you've gone to the other side, my old son.
Why is that? What?
Because nothing satisfies you anymore. It's like that. The what's it? Gold member. You cannot be satisfied. Print for the pancake.
Yeah,
that's it.
Probably.
Now. You've seen it all. You've evolved.
I've reached. I've completed. I've completed it. I've completed everything.
Yep. You've seen multimedia. That's it. You've done the lot.
Right. Okay. I can quit now.
Yes, you can. You may go beyond the rim. Go beyond the entertainment.
Euphemism.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Thank you. Right, okay, then. Well, I'll leave it there then. I shall move on. Right, we'll don't go beyond the rim.
Go beyond the rim.
So, yes, let's leave it there. There is no feedback for Attack of the Block, which is kind of handy because I can barely remember it thinking back on it now. And yes, we shall move on to this week's movie, which is The Lighthouse.
What'd you think of it, No Face? Ah!
Oh, come with me to the rolling sea while the weather's calm and still, and we'll have some fun and laughter with the adventures of Portland Bill.
Yes, The Lighthouse. Yes, sing your own shanties if you like. Is a 2019 film directed and produced by Robert Eggers, who also co-wrote the screenplay with his brother Max Eggers. Those of you might remember the name Robert Eggers. He also directed and wrote The Witch, or The Vavitch, depending on how you want to look at the poster. And it stars Willem Dafoe. It stars Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson as two lighthouse keepers who descend into madness when a storm strands them on a remote island where they are stationed. The genre of the film has been debated, and it will be again tonight. Alternatively described as a horror film, a psychological thriller, a survival, and a character study. The Lighthouse premiered on May 19th, 2019, and was released October the same year. It had an $11 million budget, and it made what at the box office? Jim, first bite of the cherry on this one. Go on.
3,000 cans of kerosene and honey.
Oh, yes. You'll be liking the honey and the kerosene. It all tastes fine.
What about you, Elton? How much do you reckon it made?
1 glass of putrid water.
Oh, nice. And Darren, what about you? What do you think it made?
I think it made a lobster, because you like me lobster. You know you like me lobster. You love me lobster.
Say you like me lobster. Say you like me lobster.
Yeah, well, actually, it didn't. It made one dead seagull. I mean, sorry, it made 18. It made, from a budget of 11 million, it made $18 million.
Oh, so there's a sequel coming. Excellent.
Yeah, Lighthouse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Semen souls in them birds.
Yeah.
Semen souls.
Semen souls, did you say?
Yeah, I couldn't think of what they actually said. I was just making
Semen
quotes
stains.
up on
Semen
my
stains.
own.
Semen stains and masturbates. Yeah.
And Roger the cabin boy. Anyway, so as this was bizarrely my choice, I'll go last. But we'll go around the table. None of you guys have seen this film, have you?
No.
Okie dokie. Right. Well, I think we'll just go around in standard order then. In which case, we'll start with you, Elton. What did you think of The Lighthouse? Just top level, quick one off before we get into the discussion.
Okay, first reactions on it.
one off in the wanking shed.
All you can hear is
Rachel, fetch me the sex mermaid.
Sex mermaid sold separately. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, I was quite aroused by this film.
My God. Ow. Yep.
It's a peculiar film, isn't it? It's a peculiar one. It's one which I am struggling to put my finger on. But
there is nothing we can say.
Or my slithery tentacle. But
welcome to the Childish Podcast, everyone.
I shall do my best.
Go for it.
Just imagine it dripping through the grate above your head.
Yar!
He's a fertile lad, isn't he? That Willem Dafoe.
Okay, serious faces now. I can't do it. I really enjoyed this, but it did leave me with lots of questions and head into the internet immediately after for mermaid porn. No, for answers to what was actually going on.
Did it leave you feeling drained, empty?
Yeah.
Sped.
I was all in a flap. Oh no! Hang on.
Nope.
I say no. I say nay. No.
Oh. So
Look, cracking movie. It looked beautiful. There's some stunning artwork in this, and it made me want to know more. So it did its job.
Fair enough. Cool. So basically a thumbs up, yeah?
Yes, definitely, yes.
Nice.
Long-winded way about it.
No, don't worry. Long-winded is where we're going to be going, I think, with this, I think. Not a problem, mate. Honestly, not a problem. So what about you, Jim? Over to you, sir.
Well, I'd wanted to see this film for quite some time. I was one of the people who enjoyed The Witch, and I was fully prepared going to this that it was going to be a divisive film. There's people who say it's brilliant, and there are other people saying, that's 2 hours of my life I'm not getting back.
Yes.
But that was part of the course for The Witch as well. Either you got on board with it or it went over your head and you said, what are people talking about?
Yes.
And from what I did glean from the Lighthouse, I thought, this is going to be, this will make The Witch look fairly accessible. And I was right.
Yeah.
I sounds bizarre to say, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. I had no idea where it was going. It was full of many surprises. It looked great. I definitely want to see it again to try and put things together that I missed because I wasn't looking in the right direction at the time. But yes, it's a kind of, I still said, a very unusual film, but one I was very glad to have seen.
Nice. Okie dokie. Cool. So over to you then, Mr. B. Just what do you think of it before you get out your essay?
Well, I just thought it was full of wank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You thought...
Sorry, I can't believe after all the euphemisms we've been going through here, is there's silence. Has my machine gone off? Did they not get that?
We got it. We got it. By this point, we'd all as much as
you're all wanked out.
We're all wanked out.
Yeah, we're all drained. We're all sat here with cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, all
classic Alison Moyet song, all wanked out.
I got a whole lot of nothing for one handful of stuff in. Oh God, no! Hang on.
You see, we don't do lyrics and stuff at the beginning of this. Maybe we should. I feel as though there should be something. I'm starting to think, Jim, that the reason you acquired the like a throat condition is because of the amount of times you probably said fucking euphemism during this film, because this is the first movie I've seen where not only are they bashing the gull, but they're spanking the monkey as well. So there you go. But on a serious note, okay, trying picking my words carefully as I go through this euphemism minefield. I've got to admit, I had to watch this 3 times. Right? Once because I fell asleep at the beginning of it, and I thought, no, come on, got to give it a go. Sat there watching it. Now, I've got to say, when you're watching it on the TV without headphones, the sound mix is rubbish.
Yes.
Right, on Netflix, because you got Willem Dafoe doing this, and it's that's what it's like. Right? I'm not joking. I think the fucking remote control went up in the air about 6 or 7 times while I was trying to watch this film. You could see the volumes creeping up because I'm trying to listen to Willem Dafoe give his fucking speech, or Robert Pattinson who's speaking quiet. It's all mumblecore, and then you turn it up and up and up and up and up, and then all of a sudden, wow, yeah, there's that, right?
Yeah.
Or there's a piece of very loud incidental music, right? So I don't know if it was meant to be like that, but not at fucking midnight, okay?
No.
No, not at all. And I hit the wrong part of the fucking volume control, and it got louder.
Oh, God.
Like, fuck! But, yeah, so the sound mix, I think it must have been done by Christopher Nolan.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah, so that was rubbish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 3 times I had to watch that. First 2 times, first fell asleep. Second time, it was kind of like, I'm not really getting into this. So I thought, I'll give it another chance today. And I watched it going to and from work. And it's it's like the Mad Max Fury Road film. When I first saw that, I hated it. But I actually quite like this. Because it is so fucking batshit crazy. This film, the stuff that goes on. In fact, yeah. So that's what I've come away with on this one. Is actually, that was quite an event. I just watched there.
Yeah,
quite full on. Really was.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Cool. I mean, I mean this is my second time of seeing this film. I like it. I and the thing is, it's kind of one of those strange things. I think I'm hard pressed to say why. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's really nicely done. All the acting is off the board. The direction's good. It's a very strange story, and yet strangely simple as well. And that's the thing. I really do like this film. But if someone was to turn around and say, should I watch this film? My first reaction is always, fuck no. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of really bizarre because you've got to come to it on your own terms rather than someone recommending it to you. I think that's probably the best way of saying it. That was the one thing. But overall, I liked it. The second time round, I appreciated it more. And it sounds like I'm doing the ad gag thing, but luckily, because of those headphones I got the other day for my PlayStation, they're wireless, and anything that plays off the PlayStation plays through those headphones, so I don't even have to have the telly on anymore. It just goes straight wirelessly through to my headphones, and I can control the volume from the little dial on the side. And it's like, and it had and the headphones are designed for 3D stereo mix. So everything sounded perfect. The fucking foghorn was coming at me from like left, and Willem Dafoe is in my right ear, and then Robert Pattinson slapping away in the wanking shed was in my left ear. It weren't always the most pleasant experience. I'm going to be honest with you, but let's be honest. I had a much better time trying to understand what the fuck was going on by just those headphones and just having a decent sound mix. So I totally agree with you on that. But no, overall. Yeah, thumbs up. I think is probably the best way of saying it. I'm not going to go too into it because we're going to have the discussion and I'm going to give the spoiler warning and all that kind of stuff in a minute. But yeah, the second time watching it, lots of kind of, maybe that means something. Maybe that means something. And maybe we'll get into that in a minute. Okay. So, yeah, that's our general thoughts. If you haven't seen The Lighthouse and, based on its earnings, I'd say most of you haven't. Go check it out, but don't be recommended by us. Go watch it if you feel like it. If you feel like a very strange movie, then go check it out. But but from here on in, there are spoilers ahoy. We can't really discuss it without them. I think is probably the worst thing. So we're going to just go ahead and, ladies and gentlemen, this is your spoiler warning. So do be aware, it is spoiler-tastic from here on in. I am never going to get tired of that noise. Anyway, so first off, What the fuck was it about?
Yes. Now, I kind of, because I did, like I was saying earlier in the green room, right? I did a bit of research of this, and I was sort of like reading some stuff that the director was talking about the end of the film, right? And just generally the way that he put the story together, him and his brother. And they were he's saying that they had the first act and the second act. They had that, no problem, but they couldn't think of a third act. And so he just said, we thought, fuck it, write the first two, and then we'll just make this shit up as we go along, right? So that's basically, in words to that effect, that's what they did. They kind of just went with it. Yeah. So they left it ambiguous. They left it open to interpretation.
But does ambiguous mean that they didn't know what they were doing with it? Or because, I mean, to me, I guess this is first question to all of you, is does it feel like it's actually got a narrative, or is it just one of these kind of tone poem movies, a bit like The Witch, where it's kind of like slice of life in a very strange situation and weirdness happens?
No, I think there's a definite arc to it.
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of story, it's kind of the thing with writing a film. I mean, film is such a collaborative process. I think they were very much so thinking, all right, we get the first two acts down, we know we can get started, and then when we get the actors on set and we start filming it, we'll feel our way to a third act.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like a film that was just kind of, and I've watched many, where they don't have a third act, where there's an act missing. It didn't feel like that. I mean, I think it's a clever film because it's about kind of identity and how you can change depending on who you're with. And that's kind of magnified in a situation where there's just two people together and they keep sparking off each other in different ways. And the film does that as well, because when it starts out, you think, okay, I've seen this sort of Lighthouse scenario before. They're both going to go mad, or one of them's going to go mad, or they'll both think each other are going mad. It's going to end badly, and it's going to be all paranoia and dread. And then the next thing you know, you've got these almost kind of, I think, oops, sorry, hit the mic. Peter Bradshaw, The Guardian, said you've got scenes that are reminiscent of Steptoe and Son in hell. And that, when I read that later, I thought, that's spot on. That kind of antagonistic old man, young man digging at each other. But it's quite funny. And the ribbing, deliberately taking the piss out of each other and winding each other up. And you have, it's kind of, I didn't expect to get like a comedy drunk dancing scene. And that's what I love about this film. It doesn't stick on just one tone. It sort of shifts and flips as it goes along, but it all manages to balance out and stay on point towards the end. And it feels like I'd come to the end of a story. All right, I maybe didn't understand all the symbolism. I need to see it again, but I'm sure there's plenty to unpack there.
Yeah.
Now I know where it was going.
I think I've got an angle, well, personally, because it is open to interpretation. So what I see this story as is, are we allowed to, because we've done the spoiler warning now?
Yes, we have, and here's a second spoiler warning.
Okay, there you go. For me, personally, watching this, and this is mainly to do with the final image of the film.
I know where you're going with this.
This kind of confirms it for me, right? At the beginning of the film, Robert Pattinson is in Limbo. That's what the island is, right? The island is Limbo, right? The outside, the beach itself on the outside is hell, and the top of the lighthouse is heaven. And what we do is we have, at the end of it, and Willem Dafoe is there to try and get him to confess to it. That's the role he plays, whether he's a real human being.
Spill your beans?
Exactly. Right?
Euphemism.
He even says, "I'm a figment of your imagination" at one point.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
You
could be wandering round a forest like a madman in Kennedy.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah.
So, and Kennedy. Basically, what we get at the end of the film is Robert Pattinson trying to make his way into heaven by getting to the top of the lighthouse, coming face to face with heaven and not being able to get there because he can't take it. And so that's why he tumbles down the stairs. And by the end of it, one of the images of torture in hell is an individual having their eyes pecked out and their innards devoured, I'm pretty sure, by carrion birds while they're still alive.
Well, that's actually taken from Greek mythology originally.
There you go. Well,
it's the myth of Prometheus.
Yeah.
Prometheus was a titan, and when the gods had made humankind, he saw humanity suffering and cold, so he stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity, making him the father of science. Zeus, the king of the gods, was less than impressed and punished Prometheus by chaining him to a rock for all eternity. And every morning, eagles would come down and tear out his liver and kidneys and feast upon his entrails, which would then grow back. And the next day, same again.
Yep.
But eternal eagle diner.
Yeah, but that wasn't the final ignominy, because poor old Prometheus got named after a fucking film in 2016 that was absolute shit.
And nobody wants that, do they?
Nobody wants that.
Actually, it's quite appropriate because we all felt that like our kidneys and our innards were being pecked out by birds while we were watching that film.
Anyway, my fucking eyes out.
There you go. Yeah. Take my eyes now, you're going to keep those. That's part of the punishment. What?
Yeah. What about you, Elton? What was your takeaway with some of the story? I mean, we've heard Jim and Darren want it, Prometheus and getting into heaven and all that kind of thing. What was your kind of vibe?
Well, I was struck by the phallic nature of the lighthouse.
It all comes back to knobs.
It does. But it's quite hard. Quite hard to miss.
Jesus Christ!
Be straight with us, Elton.
Oh, not in this film.
Yeah. Come on, stand up and be counted.
Okay, so you have Willem Dafoe, who can be seen as Zeus in that Prometheus-esque story. He's also kind of gaslighting Robert Pattinson's character throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's painful to watch. But I now recognise that as like that's like bants. That's what they call bants nowadays.
Bants.
Oh,
that's what it is. And it's like, oh no, it's fucking hideous the way it is. But you can also have the tower as well. Hang on, sorry. Willem Dafoe as like a gatekeeper for the light in the tower, and he's in love with that lighthouse. He's been there before. I also see it as a circular story as well. He says that the last person, I'm not too sure if it was with him, but the last person died, and now it's this turn. He's now become the main person, and Patterson is like the apprentice that's coming along. And so he was in Patterson's position at one point, ended up possibly killing another person, rising to the top to the light and adores the light, sees it as some sort of wife type thing. You have a bit of patricide as well, where Patterson kills Willem Dafoe to get to the light.
Yeah.
And then you could have the circular thing happening all over again. And there's so many things going on in my head about this film. And when I was watching it, I didn't have them. I was sat there going, I'm missing something again. I'm doing it again. I'm missing something, and I'm not being drawn in as much as I should be. But now I think about it more.
Yeah.
The more comes to light for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that kind of grows on you. I think is probably the best way of putting it.
You need a bit of distance from it. But it's, there's a few stories in there. I didn't really get the beach as being hell and the light being in heaven, but that does make perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of the interesting thing here, because, I mean, I went down the rabbit hole. I think, like all of us, once you've seen the film, you kind of go, right, what does the internet think? Straight to the internet. And you get some like proper Suits corners, you know, talking about all sorts of different Greek myths and stuff like that. Maybe we'll bring one of them up, another one other than Prometheus up in a minute. But then on the other hand, you know, everything seems to be open to interpretation. And I mean, like, there's, you know, the whole thing of that Patterson not knowing whether or not he's been there for so long, and you know, imagining Willem Dafoe, whether or not any of that is true, could all come down to, you know, something as simple as him drinking the manky water right at the beginning. Because when you watch it, Defoe's just like, you call me sir, you say I sir, you know, this sort of thing, and he's very, you know, straight down the line. But then then at the awkward dinner table scene, the first of many, they sit down, and he talks about like, oh, you know, drinking the water, and the water goes, you know, tastes like shit because it is basically shit because they have to throw the lime in there. But also, the thing is, later on, Defoe actually says, oh, does it still taste of the head? And that's the toilet. And the thing is, one thing, this is something I've unfortunately had to learn over the last sort of 2 months. But if urine gets into your bloodstream or into your digestive system, urine can cause kidney failure and can cause delusions and madness and hallucinations and all kinds of stuff. So if you want to go completely not down the illusions route, you know, and sort of, oh, this means this and this means that, you could go straight down the line and go, Patterson drank some manky water with piss in it and lost his mind.
I've got
defamation.
So I had a similar theory, actually.
Yeah.
When he first gets there, he refuses to do the toast and he won't drink. And it starts getting crazy after he starts getting drinking. Yeah. And me and Teresa wondered, was he previously an alcoholic? And that's why he's teetotal. And when he falls off the wagon, he falls pretty fucking hard.
He does.
Well, he could have been. He could have killed his ex-boss because he's clearly taken his name and hiding away from something, isn't he?
Which again,
it would explain that. Presuming William Dafoe isn't just fucking with him, but when he says, "You think it's a day and it's been weeks," there's kind of alcoholic blackouts.
Exactly, which is also alluded to with the whole thing of when he, in the one bit that really does make me laugh, with the after they've been drinking the kerosene and the honey, and then Patterson wakes up and he goes to go for a piss, and then he looks around. There's no bowls, there's no chamber pots, and he looks down beside Defoe, and there's like 2 absolutely brimming to the full. Pots of piss and shit, and you're like, well, that didn't all happen last night, did it? I mean, that's got to have amassed over a couple of days. And then that bit when he just walks out into the rain, throws it into the wind, and it all hits him, and he goes, "Ah!"
Comes back again. Can I just ask, by the way, considering the amount of drinking strange substances that goes on and the violence. And the suggested homoerotica stuff that sometimes goes on in it. Are we looking at a cultured reboot of Bottom? Is that what this is? Is that Eddie and Richie, do you think? It's like, you know how they've taken like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and they've turned it into a serious TV programme? Do you think they've done that with Bottom? And they've set it on a Lighthouse? Because they had Hooligans Island as a bottom thing, right?
Actually, that's maybe not as far from the mark as you think, because Bottom is influenced by things like Harold Pinter's The Caretaker and some other plays, his early plays, where it is a couple of people, both of which appear normal but actually a bit unhinged, getting on each other's tits. But also things like Waiting for Godot, kind of absurdist dramas where you have characters in like strange hell-like limbos that are never explained, getting on each other's tits, and both of us have a lot of slapstick in them, and Bottom draws on that, and I think in a weird way,
euphemism.
This is drawing on this as well, on those same influences as well. So Bottom and this we can put on the same family tree.
Jesus Christ!
Oh yes.
See,
go.
This is the kind of thing that you won't get in any other movie podcast. Everyone else will stroke their chins and talk a load of old Sudi bollocks, going, "Oh yes, well I think this is Prometheus and blah blah blah," and it's like us. Is it basically Bottom Hooligans Island, but rebooted? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There you go.
I'll tell you what it is. It's also very, very similar to a film that came out a couple of years earlier called Cold Skin.
Ooh, I've never heard of that.
It was on one of the streaming services. It seems to flip between the two. I reviewed it because it's got a very owes a lot to The Shadow over Innsmouth, and it's about there's a young man with a past who takes up a position as assistant lighthouse keeper. Finds the existing lighthouse keeper is mad as fuck. But there's also a mermaid of sorts. But this is more of kind of a Shape of Water style mermaid, shall we say.
Oh. Yeah. Sexy in a good way as opposed to sexy in a I've lost my mind and I'm actually fucking a fish way.
Well, it treads the line of difficult fap.
Speaking of treading the line of difficult fap, the other thing was there was no, I'm not going there. No, there was a film. I didn't. All the old Black Doggers who listened to my Old Boy episode. No, I'm not.
I was going to say, are we talking about Old Boy again?
No, we're not going there. But there was a film in 2018 that came out just before The Lighthouse that had Gerard Butler, and I've just had to Google it up, and I'm right. There was a film called The Vanishing. With Gerard Butler, and seriously, Gerard Butler and Peter Mullen, and it's about an actual true story about three men who went to Flannan's Isle, Lighthouse, and one of them loses their fucking mind, and then when the boat came to get them, they all gone, every single one of them, and it's the story of what happened there. I'm kind of intrigued to look at it because. Well, apart from the fact it's Gerard Butler, which means obviously it's going to end up in action and explodey bits, but it's just interesting that came out. It was released apparently in March 2019, so it came out just before The Lighthouse, which is interesting. But I wonder if that's on Netflix somewhere. I might have to check that out. I don't know why I went that way. I just suddenly thought, hang on, Hooligans Island. It's not the only one.
Well, now there's a whole subgenre, and a lot of it does go back to that famous. It was a real life case. There's various explanations that one went mad and one killed them, one that got washed overboard by waves. But it still kind of isn't a good explanation. There's a lot of kind of it's a bit of it doesn't explain everything. No, and it is one of those just we'll never know. But it's inspired. There's a poem. There's been lots of stories. And it inspired like a Tom Baker Doctor Who story, The Horror of Fang Rock. There's a very good spooky adventure game, Lights Out 2. Oh, yes. Darkfall 2, Lights Out. That's based on a lighthouse as well. And Lighthouse Keeping Loonies, an episode of The Goodies.
Hey, nice.
But no, it does all go back to that one case, and that's clearly a big influence on The Lighthouse, Cold Skin, and Cold as well, and numerous other Lighthouse stories.
Yeah. Okay then. Let's think about this. At what point did your sympathies? Well, where did your sympathies lie in this film? Was it with Patterson? Was it with Defoe? Or were you just sitting there going, "Who the fuck are these guys? What the fuck is going on?" Elton, I'll throw it over you because we've all been going on for a bit. Go on.
My sympathies were with Patterson. You had Defoe, as I said before, gaslighting him all the way through this and building up. And the way that his story slowly comes around. He starts getting him drunk, and he has resentment for this Willem Dafoe's character immediately, doesn't he? When he's being shouted down to, if I tell you to swab 10 times, and you will do it, and if I tell you to pull out each and every nail and spit and polish them until they're clean and put them back and then take them all out again, you will. It's just glorious. By the way, I've been wanting just this type of movie for a long, long time. Two people in a room, conversation, without explosions, without guns, without chase scenes or anything like that. This is what I've been hankering after for some time now. So it's worked out quite well.
Oh, that's good.
But I have sympathy for him. The way that he's denied access to the light, the way that he gets the shimmer going across his face, the way that he sees Willem Dafoe's spread body as well. He's doing like the Jesus cross type.
Oh, in the light itself.
In the light, and he's aching to get up there, and you have sympathy because you have to work your way up to these sort of things, and the creepiness that comes along, seeing the slithering, and then you have to wonder, is this madness creeping in now? And then you have all the seagull thing, and that's when it gets really interesting. When they say I think they're due to leave the next day, and he kills the seagull. Yeah, and you get told that you don't kill a bird because they have the souls of seamen in them.
Freezing. Do we not do freezing now?
The souls. Oh God, I hate having conversations with you guys like this. They have the souls, our souls,
of dead sailors.
Dead sailors. Thank you very much.
I'll get you out of that one.
There's that brilliant thing where he has that stodgy old water, and he goes out and he finds the dead bird putrefied in the water. And then the other seagull comes down and mocks him and wants a fight, and he kills it.
It doesn't so much kill it, more like totally fucking obliterates it.
But that seagull had one eye, didn't it? It was missing an eye. And then later on, he pulls up what he thinks is going to be a lobster, and it's got a face of a dead sea person with one eye.
You're saying the dog is America?
Kind of, yes.
Oh my God.
I don't know what that means. But it's silly little things like that I really enjoy.
That's actually a really good point. I completely missed that, and I've seen it twice. That's absolutely cracking point. So that's the soul of the geezer before.
Yes, he's been transferred into the bird. Now, whether he's warning him, he could be warning him because he's standing in front of that door as well, that bird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've just got shivers down my spine then.
Once again, the tinfoil hat team brings it home.
Yeah. But I enjoy watching Patterson and the way that he slowly breaks down. And there is a moment of I suppose, bonding between the guys, and they get very broke back as well, don't they? There is a moment where it's like, oh, it's gonna happen. No, fisticuffs. Let's have some fisticuffs. Let's work this out.
Can I just ask, based on that moment there, did we learn exactly what the motive was?
Anything? Did we learn anything?
Just fuck it. Yeah, why not? Just we'll go with that. Yeah. What the fuck? Just why not? That's the active phrase for this, isn't it? Why not?
Just because. Shut up. That's why the movie.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, just do it. There you go. Did we actually find out the motive for Robert Pattinson killing the guy in the logger or the logging area in Canada?
I don't think he killed him. I think the way the story's told is that
an accident he could have sort of prevented, but he sort of didn't.
Yeah, he did. He didn't like the guy, so when the guy slipped between the logs, he didn't actually reach out with the boat hook to save him.
Okay, I'm going to make maybe I'm reaching here. If you
don't worry,
me,
we're all
reaching
friends
around this one.
Oh, good Lord! Hold on.
Okay. No, maybe this is a bit of a reach, but
hold on.
Now, I'm this might be a little bit far out reason. What? Sorry, I'm barging in on your
hands above the desk, Dal.
Hands above the desk. There we go.
Yeah, show me your hands. Show me what's in your hands.
Now, thinking about the time, okay, but the sort of society that they come from, where the sort of working class backgrounds they're both in, the sort of attitudes they had back then. You'll notice then when Willem Dafoe and thingy are dancing together, right? It's Willem. I'm pretty sure it's Willem Dafoe that pushes off Robert Pattinson, right? Because Robert Pattinson, you see him slowly working his way round, and it looks like he's about to kiss him on the neck. I think something else happens though, doesn't it? He's going in for a kiss.
Willem moves in for the kiss.
Is it Willem that does it?
I think they both do.
Because I'm wondering whether that was maybe why he killed the guy. It wasn't because he didn't like him. It's because he liked him a bit too much and felt ashamed because that's the way he's been brought up, and maybe that's why he killed him. Because you see Robert Pattinson do the whole fucking going to the Queensberry Rules stance, right? When there's a break.
Professor Elemental.
Yeah.
Earthquake.
Right. So he puts on his fighting trousers, right? And I'm just wondering if that's maybe... Because there's also there's a bit where he's got Willem Dafoe on the floor and he's punching him, but then his vision blurs and you see it's the guy that he killed is there. And then I know it's the mermaid's hand that comes up and starts caressing his face, but it's like, could this be symbolic of that? I mean, maybe, like I say, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it is open to interpretation. So I'm just wondering if that's why he killed him, because he liked him.
There was an attraction there. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I'm dealing with this problem by getting rid of it completely and utterly.
Maybe he's using like the image of the mermaid as a kind of skin of attraction. Basically, close your eyes, think of something else, but really enjoy this.
Well,
it's a sort of metaphorical, as the phrase goes, beard, which is a phrase that is, used for
yes,
that for when two people get married, but they're not actually, a man gets married to a woman, and they're using it as a cover for their actual sexuality, which they're hiding. That's a phrase for it.
So the wife becomes the beard of the man.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's the slang term that I've heard used. Before.
You've used?
No, yeah, you said you used.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, hang on. You've
definitely.
Used. Yeah, that was
That's the slang. That's a slang term for it. Whether it's derogatory or not, I'm not quite sure, but that's what I've heard.
I was going to say, let's just put the caveat on that you're not really sure of how this should be or shouldn't be used.
Exactly.
Let's just put that right out there.
If that's offended someone out there, I'm very, very sorry. My apologies, but it's...
My beard is offended now.
Yeah, this is it, yeah. So,
everyone's gonna be, oh dear.
Hang on. Yeah, we've just spent the last 25 minutes talking about wanking and fishes, but
exactly. Now we're getting a bit serious.
But now we're getting awkward.
But apparently now it's got awkward.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh God. Anyway, maybe the whole relationship between them. I mean, the way I kind of read it, and again, anyone else feel like they want to step in on this, by all means do so. But the way I read it was kind of like, it was that it started off because Patterson mentions it right at the beginning. when they're kind of trying to open up and be friends and all this kind of thing, he goes, "You ain't my dad, you ain't my father." And then there was a kind of another reference to it later on, and then it becomes this kind of thing of, I don't know how to best explain it, but it became like an Oedipal thing. Now this is me with my suits hat on. This is it. This is it now. And basically, he wants approval from Defoe's character. And that all works. You kind of like, okay, yeah, fine. So the dad's giving him complete abuse and punishment, but he's like, yes, sir, putting up with it. But the bit where it all goes a bit on the wonk is when you find out what Defoe's name is. And his name is Thomas Wake, yeah? Mm-hmm. Well, what's Patterson's name in this?
It's Thomas, isn't it?
Exactly. He's Thomas Howard. And it's kind of weird, but I kind of thought there was some kind of connotation with wake being the sea and wake also being something that follows a funeral. And like I say, I was stretching it a bit, and the whole Oedipus thing, and I just thought that was kind of my marker that was actually Defoe's character is just a part of his personality. It's a bit Fight Clubby, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's his own self-loathing.
Well, then you have the other layer that Winslow is the person who died in Canada. That's the
Kennedy.
real name.
Kennedy. Going mad in the trees in Kennedy.
But that's what I'm saying. Is kind of like, that he kind of is on the run. But he's on the run from nothing really, because it was an accident. And the two parts of his personality, one is basically saying he's not good enough, much like a sort of authoritarian father figure, even down to the ledger. That everything, Patterson does is not good enough, even when he does stuff which is really good, or even when things like, he falls off the fucking lighthouse, painting the bloody thing on the outside. Yep. And all the time, Defoe's kind of there, just kind of giving him shit, and then it always turns into a fight as soon as Defoe seems to be warming to him, or he seems to be warming to Patterson seems to be warming to Defoe. And it just, to me, that was kind of one of those things where I did kind of go, I know it's corny, but the whole, does he really exist thing sort of came into play. And then, sort of like the whole Prometheus thing, wants the knowledge of fire, but Patterson isn't good enough to go up there and get it. And it sort of started to become a thing of like, is Defoe's character just Patterson's own self-loathing manifest in sort of like a Tyler Durden way, giving him shit and just telling him constantly that he's not good enough. Now, thank you very much, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But the other thing also, the Oedipal thing is the legend of Oedipus is basically the son killing the father to basically get it on with his mother. And often the lighthouse is referred to as Defoe's wife.
Yeah.
He refers to it as that. So it's kind of like whether or not that's really what it's about. It's kind of like this kind of...
There is a lot of that, I think. It's like the forbidden stuff where you have that moment where you see all that stuff dripping down the grate and he's stood there looking up. You can see that as so many ways. That is like a child walking out and hearing noises outside the room. It's like, hang on, what's going on here? That could be like a repressed memory of something that's going on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, or you could look at it as a ghost story. As you say, once you killed, Defoe killed the second in command, who had one eye, and used his head basically to lure lobsters in. Because let's be honest, he didn't catch that lobster pot. That was in the lobster pot, properly in the lobster pot, wasn't it, that head? So it's like, that's bait for the lobsters.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
So, and then in which case you say, right, well, the spirit of the one-eyed geezer, previous second in command is now the seagull, which is why Defoe's getting all angry about it.
Yeah, and then all shit. Everything turns once he kills that because the wind changes and all the storm is brought in.
Yeah, and then you get all of Defoe kind of going, "Hark, hark! I bring down the forth of the sea," and all that kind of thing. And he does that whole massive. I mean, it's a glorious monologue. I mean, actually, I tell you what, I'll come back to that now because that's one thing I always remember watching The Witch. Jim, you've seen The Witch, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
One of the things that strikes you straight away is the sort of attention to detail with the oldie English dialogue.
Yes, yeah.
Which is really thick and quite impenetrable at times in The Witch. How did you guys find this one with the proper sort of late 18th century, early 19th century salty sea dog patois, shall we say? How do you find that?
Well, it was a bit, you had to listen carefully sometimes to try and get your head around what they were trying to say. I think, after watching it watching it on the third time, my brain kind of compensated for it.
Yeah. What about you, Elton?
I'll be honest, I didn't understand a lot of it, but I enjoyed it as it happened.
Yeah.
It's like listening to a song for the very first time. You don't know the words, but you kind of know where it's going, and you like what you're hearing.
Okay. And what about you, Jim?
It was something I had to sort of tune into, but kind of like with The Witch, when you fall into the rhythm of it, you might not know all the phrases, but your brain can sort of decode them in context. When he talks about being a wickie, and that's slang for lighthouse keeper, because you tend the wick of the lamp. Okay, and it just sort of starts slotting into place. Plus, a lot of it kind of, some of it is obscure because it's authentic. There's a lot of stuff that we do know from endless Jim Lad pirate cliches.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a tar in you. You know what that means. And so I found there's a balance. There's enough that was familiar to help you sort of tune into the rest.
Yeah.
Though, say we had the similar sound issues with the bloody foghorn. It's kind of, damn it, we should have put the subtitles on, but I didn't want to ruin the visuals.
May I suggest the next time you watch it with headphones, because that will really help. Not just PlayStation headphones, but just generally any headphones.
Can I ask about the foghorn?
Yes.
Was that actually there?
I'm pretty sure it was. Hold on. Let's just find out. Is it there? Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
It's still there.
But what I mean is, it was always ringing up, maybe once or twice, wasn't it? I'm guessing a lighthouse would have like a visual cue and an audible cue as well. But I don't know whether that actually is part of lighthouses or not. I don't know whether that was just a figment in his imagination or whether something's happening now. Here's like the key change to what's going on, and then you have the noise.
Yeah, I mean, see, I'm a bit too geeky with video games, because when I started hearing that noise, my first thought was, "Oh fuck, we're in Silent Hill." Which also had the whole thing of when the fog descends and night falls and evil things are afoot. The fucking siren kicks off, and it sounded very similar to that.
Right.
Whether or not that type of foghorn or that type of noise symbolizes something in literature or something, I don't know. But that was the thing that leapt straight to my mind, was that it was a cue for something, though, wasn't it? It was. It did feel like that, but what it was cueing, I have no idea. Apart from just sending him mad, because
it's almost like the voice of the lighthouse, isn't it?
Yes,
and it's kind of it's like the environment chipping in and speaking at portentous moments almost.
Yeah, or deliberately driving him further into his madness by just deliberately interrupting things. So, because it got to the point where he was stoking the machinery with the coal. I'm guessing it's a motor or something, but he's stoking it, and then every time he stoked it, it kind of went and did that thing, and then the next time when you finally see Willem Dafoe come in to look at him and ask him something, he's got like these 2 pieces of cotton hanging out of his ears, and it's like, hang on, how long has he been in there listening to that? You know what I mean? So maybe it's driven him completely mental.
Can I just touch on the visuals of this?
Yeah, sure.
Because I flipping love what they did at the very beginning, where you have them arriving, the 2 people leaving as well. They don't acknowledge each other; they just cross, don't they? And then you have the 2 characters just stood there, and I flipping love that. That's like a callback to like 1950s, 40s, whatever type the silent movies where they're stood there for a moment for a photograph, and it's just I love that. I wish films would do that a little bit more.
Yeah. I was going to say the last time I saw anything like that was kind of like things like Grand Budapest Hotel, where it just kind of like lock off on them and just stare at a character for a second. So you're looking at them, you get them, you're drinking in the kind of image.
Yeah, these are your characters that you are going to be spending the next 2 hours with.
Yeah,
used to them.
Here are the players in the tale before we start telling it. Yeah,
and that's kind of telling you what it's all about. It's these 2, and that is it. I know some people would say the Lighthouse is a character. I don't quite get that. That is, it's not like that. You know, like Sunshine. The sun is is a character in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lighthouse is as much of a character in this as what some people are saying.
No, it's more of a symbol, because that whole, I mean, am I alone in this? But that bit when he's knocking one out in the shed again, and then all of a sudden it cuts to the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is upside down, and it literally turns, so it's like so it's like pointing straight up. It was like I've seen adverts on telly about erectile dysfunction, which do all this symbolism bollocks with rockets taking off and balloons deflating and all this kind of shit.
Going into tunnels.
Chains, yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, for God's sakes, that was what that was.
No, that was deliberate. I did read about that. Robert Eggers has said that was a very deliberate sort of symbolism. And there was an accompanying shot where Patterson followed suit. They had to cut out for being too graphic.
Oh, good Lord. Nobody wants to see his Tri-Wizard Tournament award. Come on. Nobody wants that.
Behold my wheat one.
Yes, exactly.
And also, this is the first Robert film I've seen.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's the first time I've seen him in anything.
So you've not watched the Harry Potter films?
I haven't seen the Harry Potter films, no.
Okay.
Is he in that?
Yeah, he's seen Tenet?
No, I haven't seen Tenet.
No, not Tenet. Tenet.
Tenet. The time travel one that I should have watched by now, but no, I just really haven't fancied watching it.
Don't worry. You miss nothing.
No, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any of the Twilights.
I've seen Twiglet. I don't know what else he's been in, to be honest. It's kind of weird. Go on.
It had... Who's seen There Will Be Blood?
I have.
I have, yeah.
Did it not have echoes of Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's similar energy going on, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's that whole thing of intense two-hander. Pardon the phrasing. But you know what I mean? It's that whole thing of, you know, a sort of almost a bottle episode. You know, these two characters are going to be thrown together in sort of close quarters, and one of them or both of them are going to be destroyed by the experience. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Carry on anyway, Elton.
No, I just wanted to make note of that. I just saw it, especially that moment where he finds the light. He's up there with it. He's accomplished what he wants to do, and it's ravishing him. And I love the sound that gets all distorted, and the shouting and the screaming. And you're not too sure whether he's
on it around his mouth and stuff. Yeah, it's
going down his throat. He's been penetrated by this light, and you're not too sure whether it's.
Well, take your tablet, mate. All right. I'm looking at the time. Come on. Just take the tablet. No argument.
That's what's happening, though.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. Now take it.
Either that, or he was wiring up my mum's security light and tried to plug it in, because that's what it felt like. I'll tell you that.
But that moment is so powerful, where he's just screaming, and you can't tell whether he's in pain or really enjoying it. It's just incredible, and the sound, the distorted screams and the crackles, and the sound actually sounds like it's ripping in front of you.
I think it's sound brilliant. Like that when I tread on a Lego brick in bare feet, so I don't think it was enjoyment somehow. I think that was pain.
I sound like that after I've eaten a Nando's.
Yeah.
Several hours later. I I get it, Elton. I'm totally down with it. I mean, that sound design was something else. And the visual look of it. How did everyone feel about it being like that 4:3 in black and white? Was that off-putting, or was that weird? Or
no, I think that was done for a sense of claustrophobia. You know, just filming it in that ratio. I think, it's that closed-in space. It's not widescreen, so you don't get a lot of wide open space. It's that drawing you in and making you feel like the two men do when they're in that very tiny kitchen and they're eating. You know, just about fit Robert Pattinson in bent over. You know?
Makes their shadows look taller as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really was. It was basically gothic at that point, wasn't it? It was.
It felt very H.P. Lovecraft. You know, the Call of Cthulhu type thing. I think it's because of the tentacled sea lord that they kept going on there. Things like that.
I'll be honest with you. That was gonna be my next question, and I was gonna direct it at probably inevitably at Jim. I mean, the Lovecraftian elements got to be poking out of you. This one, pardon the phrasing.
There's definitely Lovecraft baked into that idea of cosmic dread, and it's a very pure distillation of Lovecraftian dread as well, because there's kind of nobody thinks they understand Lovecraft these days. It was about things with tentacles, and that's Lovecraftian. Well, no, the idea was that there were huge alien, powerful beings that might as well be gods as far as I'm concerned. But the real horror of it wasn't that they're evil and want to enslave us, is that they don't even notice we're there. It doesn't fucking matter. You know, you are nothing. That's the impersonal universe of Lovecraft. And here you've kind of got the sea filling the same sort of space that actually, outer space and other dimensions fill in Lovecraft. And it taps into this kind of, anyone who works on the sea even now tends to be superstitious, because you're dealing with a huge capricious entity that does some fucking weird things. And in William Dafoe's various rants, he brings up lots of old kind of sea lore, and even one of his rants, he just seems to reference like an unnameable ancient god that's older than all the other gods, which is definitely a tip of the hat to the idea of, Cthulhu, who's lying sleeping beneath the waves. And when he wakes up, life on Earth is over.
Yeah. But you're fond of me lobster, ain't you? Okie dokie. Has anyone got anything else they want to bring up on this? Because, I mean, otherwise I'm just going to otherwise we're just going to loop around on my questions and I don't have many more because I really don't know what I've got to ask. It's kind of weird. But anyone got any additional bits they want to throw in there?
Yeah, is it just me, or is anybody else thinking of Rock Lobster by the B-52s? I am. Rock Lobster!
We should have done those intros. Anyway.
We should have.
Yeah, we should have. What about you, Elton? Any parting thoughts or anything you want to bring up before I kind of roll over? Madam? To the ending?
I know there was something, but no, at the moment, no. I'm just trying to think of where, like with the mermaid thing and stuff like that. You know, what is that representing? Is that just like a cover for something, or is that just because, you know, mermaids and they wash up and the first thing you do is cop a feel of them?
Well,
because that's exactly what he did.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. At one point, he confesses he's going to fuck a steak if he sees it.
If I had a steak here, I would fuck it. And that's when Willem Dafoe's like, "Oh, I think playtime is over."
Yeah, I would fuck it. Well, normally you just get a Pringles tube and sorry. Anyway,
wow.
But I mean, I mean, what is the symbolism of the mermaid? Is it actually there? Do you think? Is it, or is it just another crazy illusion? I mean, because that's the problem. Half of this stuff you can't really rely on Patterson as a reliable narrator.
Well, here you've got a very complex presentation of the mermaid lore. I mean, everyone we know a bullshit watered down version thanks to Little Mermaid, but you know what you think, you know. The actual folklore is a lot darker. Of that, they are kind of alien creatures. They actually abduct people. In some stories, they drown them, and some stories they eat them.
Yeah,
they might fuck you first, but you know, you're not going to be doing song and dance routines with friendly lobsters about under the sea. Put it that way.
No.
But you know, this idea of being half human, half sea, and it's the idea that kind of these workings, you know. Sailors have become a breed apart because they are, you know, people or become people of the sea. They can become practically mer people.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously these sort of figures go back to ancient gods, which, you know, you get again referenced in the Defoe speeches where you talked about Neptune and Triton and Proteus as well, who was another sea god.
Yeah.
So it kind of, here it's kind of the mermaids, this kind of, it's the allure of the sea, but also the danger.
And in that case, I mean, is all the sort of tentacle imagery, is that just the unknown just sort of crawling about, or is it, you know, is it his weird delusions? I mean, that's the thing. Is the film in some ways about sexual frustration? I mean,
could very well be.
The guy's been living in log cabins in the forest for X amount of years, and then he's gone and stuck himself essentially on an island in the middle of nowhere for a few years, for a few months with a crotchety old sea dog, and you know. He clearly has needs. Let's just put it that way.
Well, if you want to go to textbook Freud. Freud said the symbol of the mermaid was to do with an oral fixation,
obviously,
and partly about being kind of partially but not fully sexually fulfilled, because according to Freud, the symbolism of a mermaid is she can only perform oral sex. So you can't have full penetratory sex, which is where the frustration comes in.
Yeah.
Which make of that what you will. And please don't write in saying, what about titwags? Okay?
Yeah,
don't take it up with me. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about handies here. We're not having any of that conversation. There's no variations on the theme. It's Freud. Take it up with him. He's dead.
We're honestly going to wonder how we can actually have sex with a mermaid now.
Well, we're not. But let's be honest. It would not surprise me if next week our feedback maybe has someone who's trying to describe exactly that.
The PowerPoint presentation.
The 25 point high PowerPoint presentation.
Point 3, the gills.
Yeah. Oh God, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've suddenly it's all gone a bit it's all gone on the wonk. It's all gone on the wonk. Yeah, okay, well we'll leave that symbolism well alone then. Okay, final thing then. Come on, just crazy theories out there. What is actually in the light of the lighthouse that drives him mental? There you go. Throw that
next
one out.
Next week's winning lottery numbers, and he's nowhere near a newsagent. And fuck the network connection. That's basically it. That's why he goes mad.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Jim?
Maybe it's the fire of the gods.
The fire of the gods. Go right. Yeah. Fair enough. And Elton, do you have any crazy theories or?
Not really. It as you said, Jim, the fire of the gods or heaven itself. And he sees the love and the stature of heaven there, and it drives him mad because he had to commit patricide to get to that point. Which then destroys.
He commits patricide to get into heaven, but that automatically disqualifies him.
Yeah,
which sends him back down the stairs.
It does. Either that, or he's looked into the light and he's realised that what he's actually experiencing there is the pilot episode of Love Island. There you go.
Or maybe it was. Maybe he did watch Prometheus.
Maybe he did. Yeah.
Why don't you run sideways? Why don't you run sideways? That fucking thing's rolling.
Maybe it was Covenant.
Yeah. Oh God.
You blow. I'll do the fingering.
Oh man.
That would actually fit in this film, wouldn't it?
Actually, it would. That. It probably would, especially with the mermaid. No. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Okie dokie. Well, I think we're gonna draw a veil over this. I think. Suffice to say, there's a lot of imagery and a lot of ways to interpret this, and in our typical childish way, we've brought it down to basically wanking and blowjobs from mermaids.
Yep.
You're welcome, internet. You're welcome. Yeah. Is it a meditation on loneliness? Is it a need for acceptance by one's father? Is it about isolation or depression? No, it's about blowjobs and tit wanks from mermaids. In a wanking shed, and bad Willem Dafoe impersonations about lobsters. Right. Thanks very much. See,
we didn't even mention SpongeBob.
We did not.
Somehow.
Yeah. By the end of this episode, it'll be like 7 hours later. Are you ready, kids? You really don't want to get into that.
No. I can't hear you.
Who lives on a lighthouse and out on a rock? SpongeBob Patterson Pants. He stands in his shed and wobs out his knob. SpongeBob Patterson Pants. God Almighty, what have we become?
Lyrically, Lee, you're on fire tonight, mate. I'll tell you that now. You really are.
I'm going to be burnt at the stake as soon as this appears on Twitter. I know that. Anyway, right. Anyway. Oh dear, excuse me. Right, well, we'll wrap it up there. If anyone has any thoughts on this, obviously try and keep them within the range of our discussion. No, I don't know. No, joking. So if anyone has any thoughts on this, anything they think we've missed, anything they want to bring up about this film, then by all means send it in, put it on the Facebook group under this episode, which will be facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, or go to blackdogpodcast.com and join and do the contact us page to send us an email, or go on Twitter. We are at Black Dog Podcast. And let us know, and we'll read any feedback out next week. I'm also looking forward to Martin Thompson's contextless episode images that will be popping up this week. I have no idea what he's going to do to get through the Facebook filters, but, good luck to you, mate. Anyway, so... that's it. So it's over to Pimp's Corner now to promote everyone else's podcast, because everyone else does fine podcasts that don't involve sexually molesting a mermaid, or
well, at least not very often.
At least not very often, or drinking turpentine with honey in it. So, Jim, what's happening over in Hypnagoria Land?
In Hypnagoria Land this week, I'm taking a look at one of the most infamous board games of the 1970s, Tank Command from Ideal. And it wasn't ideal.
No, it wasn't
at all.
If you want Teresa's review after she did the proof listen, she said, it's a bit sweary, this one.
Yeah, who knew?
Jim, can I just say, there is another game you mentioned there, right, in your cast. It's Flight Deck.
Yes.
I never understood that either, so I'm going to have to look that up. Or unless you're doing an episode.
No, I'm going to do an episode on Super fucking Flight Deck.
Oh,
that was a waste. That was a waste of a large slot on the Santa list one year. Let me tell you.
Brilliant.
Not only was I disappointed, my dad was disappointed.
Oh no! Big Daddy Moon was unimpressed. Now it's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong now. Right. Okay. And we'll go over to Elton. Elton, sir.
No Shonky Labs just yet. Although there are ideas afoot, and I'll let everyone know in due course as to what's happening with that.
Lovely.
But I continue the trip to basically covering The Expanse.
Nice.
We're on episode 5. That comes out tomorrow morning, or when this comes out. So,
okay.
If anyone's enjoying The Expanse, please pop over and try and grab an episode of Into the Expanse, where myself and Andy cover all of the episodes of The Expanse. One episode left after this one.
Cool. And then I'll be able to actually watch the series.
That's
right. I'll binge it.
Binge that bad boy.
Binge that bad boy. Right, okay, so we've done everything slightly out of order because we're going to do the episode next week. Now, next week is Elton's choice, but Elton is a 50-50 on whether he'll be here next week. So, we've come up with the plan of last year, which worked very well, which is all three of us, me, Jim and Darren, have brought a mystery film to the table, and Elton must pick it. Do you want Jim's film, Darren's film, or my film? You might not be here to review it, but you're doing it guilt-free because you have no idea what you're picking.
Yeah.
So, sir, who are you going to pick? Jim, Darren, or Elton? And this is not a popularity contest.
Jim, Darren, or Elton?
Jim, Darren, or Elton?
Yeah, that's a toughie, man. That really is a toughie. I'd like to pick you all, really, but
tell us which
would
one's
you
your
like
favourite.
one spoiler-free question that might give you a clue to what we've picked?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you can ask a question of each of us, and then we'll give you a clue, and then you can see whether or not you want to pick.
Okay.
Apart from the title, obviously.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, man, okay. Questions.
Go on,
Sorry.
You get one question to ask, and you ask it of all three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the same question to everyone, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What year is your film made in?
Okay. Who wants to go first? Go on, Dal.
I'll go first. 2019.
Okay. Jim?
2021.
Oh. Last week. Yes.
Strong. Well, funny enough, actually mine is 2021 as well.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I do have a preference. Now, this is because people wouldn't have heard this for the choice of this episode last time out. Or did they hear this?
I don't know. What are you going to say?
Well, we went off. We chose a film. We went off, and then we all were in the green room, and we went, should we go back and just do this again and choose the other film instead?
And do the Lighthouse,
let's do that and do the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And that is because I didn't go with Darren's choice.
No, my choice.
No, but it was your choice. But Darren said weird. Jim said wacky, which was the other film, wasn't it? And I went with Jim and not Darren. So I'm going to go with Darren today.
Oh, you're going with me? Oh.
Yes.
There's a man who's just had his bluff called.
Well, this isn't the one that I chose the other week. You do know that, don't you? Right?
Yeah, so we just covered that.
Okay, so yes,
the Lighthouse again.
The Lighthouse again. Yes, this is the sequel, The Lighthouse Family. Not going there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Ocean colour scene.
Indeed. Yes. The day we caught the train. Wow.
The Little Mermaid.
Indeed. Okay, so what have I chosen? Well, as I said, it's a 2019 film starring none other than Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay.
And no, it doesn't involve wizards.
No.
Not at all.
There's two that immediately leap to mind. I'm wondering which one it's going to be. Go on.
Indeed. So and this is one that I haven't watched, but I'm kind of intrigued to see where they go with this. All right. And the one that I've chosen is Guns Akimbo.
Oh.
Okay. Guns Akimbo. That's cool.
Guns Akimbo.
So it wasn't Paul Dano riding the dead Daniel Radcliffe across the ocean.
No, not that one. No, not was it Swiss Army Man?
Yes, which is the other one I always thought you were going to go for, but I couldn't remember what year it was made. Oh, okay, so Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo.
So you've not seen it?
Nope.
And Jim, have you seen this?
No, I've not.
Me neither. Elton, have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but I have seen Swiss Army Man.
Okay. So have we dodged a bullet on that one?
I think so, yes.
Yes, okay, cool.
I don't know, but you should see the film that's below it on Amazon Prime.
Go on.
Okay, the film, when I put in Guns Akimbo and I searched for it, the one that's directly under it is Nude Nuns with Big Guns. So there you go. I mean, I could backtrack. We could re-record that last bit, and I could choose that if you want. We've had a bit of a theme going on this week, so why don't we carry it on into the next one?
To be quite honest, I'm already waiting for the sternly worded letter from Apple next week. So let's just see how it goes, eh?
You're watching or you're listening to the Difficult Fap season here on Black Dog.
Yeah.
Difficult, not impossible.
Yeah, not impossible.
Challenging wank.
Challenging wank. The challenging wank episode. Right.
God bless you, Sean Bean.
Sean Locke. Sean Bean.
Well, he does die at the end of every movie, doesn't he?
Yeah,
so,
I know, but Sean Locke. Yeah, the challenging
Sean
wank.
Locke, sorry.
Challenging wank episode. Okay, well, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be watching Guns Akimbo, which, from just a thumbnail, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to like this, but we'll see how it goes. So, yes, if anyone's got any thoughts or feedbacks or comments or anything you want to say, just leave them in the usual places. Facebook.com/group/The Black Dog Podcast, blackdogpodcast.com for the contact us page, and for Twitter, which is Black Dog Podcast. Right. So, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
And thank you again all for listening. And yes, we shall see you all next week for Guns Akimbo, a.k.a. Harry Potter. He's lost the rails. Harry Potter, the Wilderness Years. Until then, take care, and we'll see you all soon. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, me hearties.
Ta-da.
And should pale death with treble dread make ocean's caves our bed, God who hears the surges roll deign to save our suppliant soul. Don't leave me hanging.